Welcome back to What Remains of Edith Finch. I'm J-Sillabub, and as I said in my last video, from this point on it's all new. So we're now in Sven and Edie's room. Usual sort of selection of interesting books. Call of the Wild, eh? Of course. Actually, given Molly's story, we've got 9 Lives and Monsters of the Deep there, and what's that middle one? The Little Glass Slipper? No, that's not relevant. Finch's A Falling Flock. The Dreams in the Witch House. I actually had a look through my first playthroughs, and I do wonder if there is something, about these books that hints at the wider mythology. There are some downstairs that are things like the Witch's Cookbook and stuff. So, the cocktails have their own memorial plates. I don't know, what are they called? Rob. Lurpy. Purpley. What is that? Furpy? And Zerpy. Oh god. Derpy Jr. Burpy. Bob. This one doesn't have a nameplate. Derpy. Oh, Derpy and Derpy Jr. Someone liked rhyming names.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Yeah, we saw this slice of wood portrait of Molly in her room as well, so obviously this was Edie's thing.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
Oh, there's the hands and everything. There's me.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
So just like the actual, projector device things, I forget what they're called. But there's a little button on the side that you hold down to move to the next slide. Exact same. Hold down the right trigger.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
Yeah, that explains the whole the first house sank thing.
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
I was having a look at the playthrough from the second playthrough, and once you get into Walter's room, actually, I didn't notice it the first time, you can see a painting of the house under the ocean.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
That is the statue that I saw when I looked through the fence outside the house.
His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
This also means that Edie was the one that sent Molly to bed without dinner.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
I was actually having a look at this family tree off cam and trying to figure out how it works. It's a very strange setup, but I think this means then that So Dawn is my mother. Milton and Lewis are my two brothers. I would guess that Gus and Gregory are my uncles. I'm not sure why it splits that way for Walter and then Sam, Calvin, Barbara and Molly. Maybe I'm just reading into it. Actually, yeah, I probably am. It's just that's the way it got designed. This seems to just be kind of the... Well, I was going to say this seems to be just the biological kind of... It's the branch itself is just the Finch family, and then people who marry into it are drawn as leaves. So if you look at Odin there, and Ingeborg is like a sort of separate leaf. But that doesn't explain why Edith is Finch. Because if Dawn was a Finch, then... Well, unless she kept her name after she married. Or maybe I'm just completely wrong. But we shall find out, I'm sure. So I'll just put this away. Oh, one other thing I discovered by looking at the playthroughs is that whenever I get an achievement, it's not actually popping up on the screen for some reason. So if I get any achievements going forward, I'll just have to say that I got it. Can't look through the peephole from this side. Nice big finch. Builder finch! No! Builder finch and... I guess Lady Finch with nice hat. Anyway, so... Built 1937, Sven Finch.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
I must say, from everything that we've seen of Edie so far, she seems really cool. Yeah. Refuses to evacuate because of a little forest fire. She sounds cool. Oh, that's interesting. Can I do anything with those? I guess these are things that I can maybe come back to after I finish the game. Ah.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
Oh, Edie, you sound so cool.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
I keep saying Edie sounds really cool, and she does sound really cool, but, like, you did send your daughter to bed without dinner, so, That's quite a nice effect as well. Oh, they painted on.
Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
There is one thing actually that, to go back to the family tree and just looking at this picture. So, we've got that name Sanjay there, which is drawn as a leaf, which suggests, if I'm right, married in from outside. So that means then that Edith is biracial. Which is interesting, they've just kind of dropped that in there. But we'll see where that goes as well. Again, I could be wrong. Yeah. I look quite... Well, Edith looks quite biracial in that picture.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Okay, Grandpa Sam and his wife Kay. Ah, yes. Yes, so... So Sam is Edie's son. He was married to Kay. Maybe that's who Gregory was. But, thinking about it as well, when I looked through the keyhole for Gregory's door, and I believe this is it here. Yeah, I looked through the peephole there and I could see in here. It was marked as Gregory's bedroom, but this is a bathroom. What's that all about? White lawn chair of doom in the bath. Anyway, not much to do in here except unlock the next stage, I guess. There's a secret in this bathroom. This is the kind of thing I would have done when I was a child.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
An early selfie.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Oh, so this is Sam's story, I guess? Milton's graffiti again. Couple turns land into a native haven. Early work on rail link. Ah, the room that Sam shared with Calvin. Yeah, because Calvin was the one that died young, wasn't he? So his section is all roped off and memorialised. Fort Sam. Can I go up these stairs? Oh, I can. Can I jump off the stairs? No bouncing on the bed. Okay. Someone was super into the military. My brother's name is Sam. This is very much what his bedroom at home is like.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
Command center.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
Am I gonna fly off the swing?
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe
Oh,
if the
shit,
wind
I'm
hadn't picked up.
Ooh, on my branch. Am I gonna go over the top of the branch, or am I gonna fly off the side of the ocean?
Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Oh!
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Oh!
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
There was less to that than I thought there would be. But I guess we've still got a lot to go through. Oh, he's got a painting there as well. Anyway, yeah, so that bit of exploration has made up my 15-ish minutes, so time to stop, I think, and we'll continue when I come back. See you soon.